Hi guys, the Toting Teacher here again. I promise you this video will not be nearly as long as the last one I posted. I know it was a little long, but I had a lot to purge, as I stated in that video. So this one I don't really have anything to purge. So it'll be a lot shorter. I just wanted to weigh in and comment on the Piers Morgan show that aired, I believe it was last Monday evening. That would have been January 7th of 2013, where he had as a guest on his show Alex Jones. He's some kind of a radio show host or whatever. I'm not that familiar with Mr. Jones. I do not listen to his show, but I am somewhat familiar with who he is. I have listened to a couple of things that I've seen on the internet that friends have sent to me via email. A couple of things that he has commented about. So I'm somewhat familiar with who he is. I'll just get to the point, and I'll be clear. The views of Mr. Jones are not the views of yours truly. I think it's unfortunate because there are a lot of people who are out there who look at Mr. Jones or people like him and think that all gun owners, all of us think that way, and all of us believe that way. And it just isn't true. Now, that being said, I do feel that it seems somewhat like a setup to me, Mr. Piers Morgan. I'm going to get on you now, because it is very clear that you are an anti-gun individual. You probably have a hidden agenda. It's a very biased agenda. And I think that you use the power of your broadcast in order to promulgate your view, to spread it, to indoctrinate others into believing as you believe and thinking as you think. So as I was watching Piers Morgan, I was wondering who that imposter on my television screen was. His demeanor this time around, your demeanor, if you're watching this, Mr. Morgan, was very calm, cool, and collected. And I could only imagine the amount of energy spent requiring you to do that. I know that I was wondering, will the real Piers Morgan stand up? It appeared to me, it seemed to me that more than likely your media crew, Mr. Morgan's media crew, became very familiar, unlike myself, became very familiar with Mr. Jones and who he is and what his views were. And I'm sure that your homework was done, Piers Morgan. I'm sure that you did your homework and you knew this guy was a nut, which is why you invited him on your program to begin with. Cooler heads prevail, and that's how Mr. Piers Morgan came across that night as the one who prevailed. Unfortunately, Mr. Alex Jones was the one who came across as crazy. And I say unfortunately because everything Mr. Jones said was not crazy or erroneous. There were some tidbits of wisdom peppered throughout his rant. But because he began to emote and he lost his head, no one is going to take the time to hear through all of that muck, the things of merit that he had to offer, unfortunately. And I'm not going to get into detail about what those things were, at least not here and now, because I don't want to be lumped into the same category with Mr. Jones. I'm nothing like him, and the people who are like me are nothing like him. We don't believe as he does. I just think at this gross comparison to England, this ridiculously unfair comparison that Mr. Piers Morgan keeps making, is not a good comparison at all. The citizens in England do not own guns. The citizens in America do own guns. So quite naturally, when you compare our two societies, their gun homicide rate is going to be extremely low in comparison to ours. I think that it's better to compare us with other nations whose citizens own guns. That's a fairer comparison. I was watching this week, and I came across a news clip out of Cincinnati, Ohio, where this anchor by the name of Ben Swann did a comparison between England and the United States concerning the whole Piers Morgan and Alex Jones debate, and this statistic that this erroneous statistic that he has been citing for weeks in regard to England only having 35 gun homicides in 2011 in comparison to the United States, where there were over 11,000 gun homicides in 2011. It's a very specious comparison. Mr. Piers Morgan, I believe, knows that. And really, I just think Mr. Morgan is a troublemaker. He's not even an American citizen. I just think he needs to shut up. Or if he's going to comment on something, comment on some neutral topic. But stay out of this fight. You know, if I'm invited over someone's home, and as at the dinner table, if a little family spat breaks out, I'm not going to get involved in that. I don't know the idiosyncrasies or inner workings of their family and how things work. You know, I'm sure that they love each other or what have you, and even though it doesn't appear to me right now that they do, but I'm sure that they do. Why would I get involved in that? And for me to do so as a house guest would be entirely inappropriate. Well, Mr. Morgan, I think it is entirely inappropriate for you to be using your media platform to get involved in this debate. You know, let us work it out on our own. And if you don't like it, go back to England. You're not even a citizen, man. Just stay out of it. But anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent. Please click on this link I have below this video. Hopefully I have it posted there correctly. And check out what Ben Swann and those people up there in Cincinnati, Ohio. Fox 19 is the channel up there, Fox Network affiliate up there. Their news programming is among some of the most balanced I've seen or heard in a very, very long time. And Ben Swann will do a much better job of explaining, for those of you who want to dig a little deeper and learn truth and become educated and get out of your ignorance. You know, Mr. Swann can do a much better job of explaining it than I can, and he cites facts, he lists his sources, and it's on the website that they have, and it's great reporting. Big ups to Mr. Swann and the Fox 19 affiliate out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Appreciate you guys for that. Anyway, the rest of you, look, stay safe out there. Hope you're having a good new year. But hey, look, most importantly, you all stay free. All right, peace.